friends. Welcome to the session. We've got a lot of news that we'd like to share with you. And welcome to Lena. And also, Lena, you had asked the link for the second channel, Candid Mean a Coffee, where you have shorts and vlogs. So this is the link. And welcome, Sunita. Always nice to see you. Yeah. So let's start with the first piece of news. Now we're talking about none other than the controversy that's happening in Chennai. Yeah. So a fresh political controversy has erupted in Tamil Nadu over the state's noon meal scheme after BJP leader K. Annamalai alleged that contractors had stockpiled nearly 200 million eggs during a market price crash earlier this year and were planning to supply them to school children over several months. According to Annamalai, egg prices had fallen sharply in March to around 3.70 per egg, while the Tamil Nadu government's midday meal procurement system continued paying a fixed contract price of rupees 5.63 per egg. He claimed contractors took advantage of the gap by purchasing eggs in massive quantities and storing them in cold storage facilities for future distribution under the state's nutrition program. Now, the BJP leader argued that the issues goes beyond procurement, economics, and raises serious public health concerns. He warned that eggs stored for prolonged periods could lose nutritional value and potentially become unsafe for consumption, especially when transported to remote rural schools. Now, referring to earlier controversies during the DMK regime over allegedly spoiled eggs being served in schools, Annamalai urged Chief Minister Vijay and his TVK government to enforce strict quality monitoring mechanism. The controversy has gained traction because Tamil Nadu's noon meal program is one of India's largest and politically significant welfare schemes, covering more than 40 lakh students across roughly 43,000 schools. Eggs are a central nutritional component of the program and have been promoted as a key anti-malnutrition measure in the state. The official scheme guidelines state that the eggs supplied must meet AgMark standards and are procured through state tenders under transparency rules. Politically, the issue also reflects Tamil Nadu's rapidly shifting power dynamics after actor turned politician Vijay rose to power. Annamalai's criticism appears aimed at positioning the BJP as an aggressive opposition voice against both the former Dravida Munnetra Kaigam government and the newly formed TVK administration. The BJP has increasingly attempted to frame welfare, delivery, corruptions, allegations, and governance accountability as central electoral issues in Tamil Nadu, post-DMK political landscape. So far, there has been no officially verified evidence presented publicly confirming that unsafe eggs were actually distributed to students. However, the allegations have intensified scrutiny over procurement practices, food safety, oversight, and contractor influence within one of Tamil Nadu's flagship welfare programs. Now, friends, as you see, this controversy is, it involves regarding the quality and management of eggs supplied for the noon meal scheme in Tamil Nadu schools. Now, what Annamalai has said is that the private contractors purchased approximately 200 million, which is 20 crore eggs in bulk during March 2026, when market prices dropped to roughly 3.70 per egg. And what is the month now? Now it's May. Suppose they bought it in March. Do you think these eggs can still, be fresh? He alleged these contractors stored the eggs in cold storage facilities to supply them to schools over several months, thereby profiting from the significant gap between their low purchase price and the government's fixed contract price of 5.63 per egg. Now, Annamalai argued that eggs are highly perishable and that long-term cold storage could compromise their nutritional quality and safety. He warned that serving such eggs, especially in remote and rural areas, poses a serious health risk to children. Now, following the reports and public outcry, the Tamil Nadu government Chief Minister Vijay, his administration ordered an immediate probe. Officials from Tamil Nadu Food and Safety and Drug Administration Department, along with Animal Husbandry and Social Welfare departments, began inspecting egg suppliers' cold storage facilities in Namakkal district to verify the claims and ensure food safety standards are being upheld. Now, the suppliers have said, the poultry farmers in the area of Namakkal have said which is a major hub for egg production, have rejected these allegations. They stated that the state does not have cold storage infrastructure to house 200 million eggs and that they supply fresh eggs regularly from poultry farms directly to nutrition centers. They also emphasized that the supply tender was finalized through a transparent online process in January and maintained that only fresh produce is being supplied to the schools. The situation remains a significant topic of discussion with authorities under pressure to ensure that strict monitoring, quality testing, and transparent distribution practices are enforced for all food provided to the students. Now, one thing we must understand is that, we are talking about children, school children. Now, if the eggs are contaminated, then who is going to suffer? It's only children. And then, of course, a small news report will come. So many kids are hospitalized because of, contaminated food. This is how, different, schools or, states, respond. And then by that time, those parents have already lost their children, So this is something that Annamalai is warning. And Annamalai does not speak nonsense. He is the kind of person who puts facts together and then he speaks. So this is something that really needs to, be looked into. So let me take some comments. Lavalina, is Annamalai starting his own party? And Sami says truth. And Dhanashri says, good evening, welcome Dhanashri. Now, Mrityum Jaya, you've written in Kannada, so please, Kannada, I'm not too sure. Can you please write it in English? Then we can read it out for our viewers. So let me take a few more comments, very interesting comments coming. Welcome, Sunita. And yes, so Mrityum Jaya says, Annamalai will definitely be rewarded shortly with a suitable position, is what he says. And Dhanashri says, Annamalai should not be ignored by BJP if they want numbers in Tamil Nadu. So sometimes I feel, like all of you are saying, Dhanashri, Mrityunjay and so many others, that, Annamalai should be given a very responsible position. Sometimes I feel these people are scared of strong people who voice their opinion and who cannot be manipulated. If you're a strong man, you've got a strong voice and you've got principles, you're not going to listen to the nonsense of other people. So quite clearly, Annamalai is one such person. Annamalai is having a national leadership qualities and he should be made Rajya Sabha MP and given national level responsibilities, says Mrityunjaya. Absolutely, yeah, well said. Now, as you know, there's a political, change happening in Karnataka. So we're talking about none other than Siddaramaiah. So let's just go to his image. Yeah. Now, Siddaramaiah was literally in tears when he spoke about, how he's resigning. Now, he has finally confirmed his resignation as Karnataka Chief Minister after a breakfast meeting with cabinet ministers in Bangalore. Even as he steps down, Siddaramaiah appears determined to ensure that his exit is not politically quiet. In fact, he has activated a time bomb, which will be ticking for his successor, Shivakumar, and the Congress's de facto chief, Rahul Gandhi. By formally accepting the contentious backward classes commission's socio-economic and educational survey, which is the caste census report on Wednesday, he might have taken quite revenge on DK Shivkumar and Rahul Gandhi. The report on the first caste survey, commonly referred to as caste census in Karnataka, has been ready since 2017. Now, Siddaramaiah's previous term as the chief minister, now he is returning, he returned in power in 2023. Then he ordered a fresh caste survey whose report was ready in 2025. The move to accept this survey report by him just ahead of stepping down is being viewed as a final strategic message. The report was submitted by Karnataka State Backward Classes Commission Chairman Madhusudan Naik after Siddaramaiah fast-tracked the process and rapidly evolving political developments in the state. As you know, what has been happening is that these two characters, we're talking about Siddaramaiah and DK, have been, on hopping on flights to see the high command, which is Sonia Gandhi and the son, and coming back. And every time they come back, they look so stressed out. So we do not know what they, have undergone there. But one thing is very clear. They don't want any of the, what they discussed to come out. So yeah, so let me just go on. Yeah. So while this is officially an administrative exercise by the Chief Minister, the timing of his receiving the report has transformed into a deeply political act. Political observers believe Siddaramaiah is attempting to leave office after firmly stamping his image as Karnataka's foremost backward class leader. But by accepting the report at the moment, he has also ensured that the burden of handling its consequences shifts entirely to DK Shivkumar. The figures from the survey has created anxiety among dominant communities because they allegedly show stronger population shares for backward classes and minorities while reducing the perceived demographic strength of Lingayats and Vokalingas. Such numbers could trigger fresh demands for revising reservations, welfare allocations, and political representation. This is where the problem for the next CM of Karnataka, which is DK Shivkumar, is going to start. So as you see, he's not one to leave without a fight, and he also refused the Rajya Sabha seat which was given to him. Now, as we said, the caste census has been, has been a very sensitive issue in Karnataka for over a decade, has been revealed. Now, the risk, of this is that it will alienate, dominate communities whose political support is crucial. This would invite intense criticism from backward classes and social justice activists, undermining the Congress Party's national narrative on caste enumeration. In a sense, the move ensures that regardless of what the new government does, the issue and the political consequences will dominate the discourse in the coming months, complicating the transition for DK Shivkumar and the Congress leadership. So this is something, I was also looking at the way these people were actually, going to and fro to Delhi as though they're going to a park. So here you see DK with Rahul Gandhi being given a bouquet by Kharge. So you also realize that, lot has undergone, he has undergone, in Delhi, a lot of which they will not reveal, but you can make out from DK Shivkumar's, silence that much has flown under the bridge. And I do not know whether he is happy or sad. But of course, outside his house, people were celebrating with giving sweets and all that. And the ministers, under Siddaramaiah, all seem to be literally in tears. And yes, very well said, Dhanashri. I feel Siddaramaiah is shedding crocodile tears. And DK has resources, but that doesn't prove he is a YS Rajshekhar Reddy. Absolutely. Well said, Gopanna. So this is something that is going to be watched very, very closely. But what I find very surprising is that none of the, the BJP opposition has spoken about it. And there's something that I wanted to speak to you about the previous Chief Minister, BJP, Bommai. Now, Bommai had a very, very good reputation, apparently, and he had reduced fuel prices steeply by 7 rupees per litre in 2021 and still ran the economy brilliantly for 2 straight years. And he delivered a surplus budget. He also gave 4,000 rupees extra under PM Kisan, and scholarships for kids of farmers. And also Foxconn record investments, tap water connections, schemes for acid attack victims, and much more. So people say that Bommai was a very good chief minister, but the problem was, nobody really was able to communicate the good work that he did. So many people say, whenever, now Bommai has said, whenever a chief minister is removed, it has an effect. If an OBC leader is removed, the OBC people will be unhappy. this will create a lot of problems for the Congress. Now, so what these people are saying about Bommai is that he was a good administrator, but he failed to tackle the accusations that was hurled at him. Being a good administrator is not enough. You have to be a good orator as well. And also the fact that in midterm they did remove Yediyurappa, which they should not have. This is what most of the people are saying on social media, and perhaps that would have it would have been different had Yediyurappa continued. So now let's go on to the next piece of news. Now, as you know, this Trisha story is getting murkier by the hour. So what is the latest is, what I'd like to say, but for people who've not been following, I'll just give you a brief. The investigation into the death of former actor model Trisha is currently a high-profile case being handled by the CBI in Bhopal, and what happened really was she was found dead at her husband's home in Bhopal on May 12, 2026, this year. Her family has alleged that she was a victim of dowry harassment, mental torture, and domestic violence. Following concerns raised by the family regarding the initial investigation, the Madhya Pradesh government recommended a CBI probe. The agency took over the case on May 25th, re-registering the fire against her husband Samat Singh and his mother Giribala Singh. And also please remember that a second post-mortem was also done where they did detect a lot of bruise marks. Now this Samat Singh is a lawyer who was arrested by the state police on May 22 and is currently in CBI custody, as is Giribala Singh. She was also arrested 28th is yesterday, after the Madhya Pradesh High Court quashed her anticipatory bail. Now, apparently the CBI is utilizing a very sophisticated digital investigative method referred to as Sun View to reconstruct the events of May 12. This technique aims to provide a minute, precise timeline of Trisha Sharma's final hours. Investigators are integrating various data sources into a single timestamp digital simulation. So this will include CCTV footage from the residents and surrounding areas, mobile phone data, and internet activity, which is called detailed records, Wi-Fi logs, and smart device activity, forensic room mapping, and witness accounts. Now, by synchronizing these data points, the CBI aims to trace Trisha's movements within the house, identify exactly who entered or exited specific areas, and detect any suspicious patterns, inconsistencies, or gaps in the timeline that might be suggesting tampering or coercion. This construction is intended to serve as a crucial piece of evidence to establish the sequence of events leading up to her death and to confront the accused with factual findings. Now, see, as of today, what is the latest is that a Bhopal District Court has granted CBI 5-day custody for both Samat Singh and Giribala Singh. They will remain in CBI custody until June 2nd, 2026. The primary objective of this remand period is for the CBI to conduct a face-to-face interrogation and cross-examination of both the suspects, the mother-in-law and the husband. The agency is looking to clarify inconsistencies in their statements and probe deeper into the allegations of dowry harassment and evidence tampering. Now, the arrest of Giribala Singh followed a significant order from the Madhya Pradesh High Court, which quashed the anticipatory bail she had previously been granted by the lower court. The High Court observed that the initial bail order had failed to consider critical evidence, specifically the injuries found on her body were ante-mortem, that is, sustained before death, and not consistent with post-death handling. Since taking over the case, the CBI has been focusing on re-evaluating the crime scene and the initial police investigation. The agency successfully argued that the custodial interrogation of Giribala Singh was essentially due to her non-cooperation with previous investigation notices and the mysterious circumstance of the case. Surrounded by her background as a retired judge, which investigators fear may have been used to influence the crime scene management. Now, the investigation continues to focus on charges under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023 and the Dowry Prohibition Act. The Supreme Court has also urged all involved parties to refrain from making public statements to ensure the integrity of the ongoing probe. The next few days of custodial interrogation are expected to be pivotal in determining how the CBI proceeds with formal charges against the accused. Now, one thing is also, which was pointed out by one of the viewers, is that the very reason that the husband was absconding was that, there would have been bruise marks on his body when Trisha would have struggled and, either scratched him. And if so, he would have gone into hiding because to remove this proof. So that could also be a very, very strong possibility, which one of the our viewers has suggested. I think that makes for a very, very valid point. Now, Dhanashri says, one can easily make out that Trisha Sharma's husband running behind her was in an angry state, which can be clearly seen on CCTV footage. Thus, these people were dragging her body. And also, don't forget the fact that the mother-in-law was watching this, in a very impassionate way. She was not bothered at all about all this that's happening, because see, when someone dies in this manner, the whole family will be in complete shock, and they would be calling the ambulance and the doctor. But here, nothing was happening, and they were not even bothered about what was transpiring. Now, let's go to the next piece of news. Now, moving on to Bollywood. Now, Bollywood superstar, as he is claimed, Salman Khan, today we would say he's a zero star, has reportedly stepped in to mediate the growing tension between actor Ranveer Singh and Farhan Akhtar over the troubled production of Dawn 3, according to industry reports. What initially it appeared to be routine creative disagreements has now snowballed into one of Bollywood's most talked about behind-the-scene conflicts. Reports suggest that Ranveer Singh walked away from the highly anticipated franchise reboot after prolonged disagreements. We talk about Dawn 3. So he was upset about the film script, scheduling delays, and creative direction. The fallout initially became serious enough for Excel Entertainment, led by Farhan Akhtar and Ritesh Sidhwani, to seek compensation from the actor for losses linked to production disruptions. The controversy escalated further after the Federation of Western India Cine employees reportedly issued a non-cooperation directive against Ranveer Singh, intensifying speculation that the dispute had moved beyond private negotiations into a larger industry issue. Although FWICE later clarified it was not an official ban, the development sparked widespread debate within Bollywood circles about contracts, accountability, and star power. Amid the chaos, Salman is said to have personally reached out to both Ranveer and Farhan in an attempt to calm tensions and prevent the matter from turning into a prolonged legal or public relations battle. Reports claim Salman advised both sides to handle the disagreement internally, stressing that creative conflicts are common in the film industry and should not permanently damage professional relationship. Now, the situation has, we're talking about the movie Dawn 3. It was expected to mark a new era for the iconic franchise, originally headlined by Amitabh Bachchan in 1978 and later reinvented by Shah Rukh Khan in Farhan Akhtar's 2006 and 2011 versions. Now, Ranveer Singh's casting had already divided fans, with many loyalists still hoping for Shah Rukh Khan to return. Recent reports also claim that Shah Rukh Khan himself was earlier unconvinced about returning due to screenplay concerns, adding another layer of uncertainty around the project's future. As of now, neither of these two actors have publicly detailed the exact nature of their disagreement. However, the episode has exposed the immense pressure surrounding franchise filmmaking in modern Bollywood, where creative ambitions, financial stakes, fan expectations, and industry politics increasingly collide behind the scenes. So it is very, it's nothing surprising for us, because we all know what kind of game Salman Khan and the other Khans and the Javed Akhtar and Farhan Akhtar play. None of them are really, very pro-India, because all of them have always bashed India. And wherever they have had the chance, they have, spoken ill of India. So now when this movie Dhurandhar has become such a huge success, and Ranveer has made so much of money, the envy is palpable. So you can make out that all these people are upset because one actor has proved his caliber, with two movies, a sequel and perhaps another one coming. And this has upset them because none of their movies are clicking and none of them are doing acting because now they know they can't compete with a movie of this caliber. So this is something that is upsetting all of them. Now Dhanashree says Salman uncle stepping in between Farhan and Ranveer still seems to be weird. Yes, and also don't forget the fact, friends, that a lot of the actors before this have been sidelined because of these Khans. The monopoly. They want to grow old and become grandfathers, and yet they want to be heroes of 20-year-old girls. And if you look at so many actors who have been sidelined, you look at Akshay Khanna. After this, he has not got a movie. They are not going to give him a movie. If you just, type the words Akshay Khanna on YouTube, you'll find so many derogatory videos about why he is bald and why he is upset and why is he depressed and he is weird, which is what Karan Johar and Shah Rukh Khan told him on his face that you are weird. So you can make out that they're so scared of him. And so many other actors have also, like Oberoi, I forget his first name, Suresh Oberoi's son, Vivek, yes. Vivek Oberoi was also sidelined. So many good actors were all pushed away for these Khans to be able to rule the roost. But the funny thing is, none of them have any movies now. Everybody from Saif Ali Khan to, Amir Khan and all these people are just biting their nails. They don't have any movies to talk about. And this is what karma does. Whenever you do, harm to other actors, this, you get it straight on your face, like, which what they are now facing. So it's all karma. If they had been kind to, newcomers and encouraged them and realized that they had to retire, these things would never have happened. But the kind of revenge that happened, the kind of brutal killing of, Sushant Singh Rajput and so many other young actors, it's all seems to be like a revenge. As in, Dhurandhar, they say the second part is a revenge. It seems like it is truly a revenge on these people who think they are so, smart. So recently I saw a video where, they were comparing the, the behavior of South Indian actresses and North Indian actresses, which is Bollywood. So you see Kriti Sanon and some fans coming. She doesn't even look at them. She flicks them away like a fly, and then you have other actresses also doing the same. Whereas at the same time, if you go to South India, they showed many of the actresses, whenever a fan comes, they actually stand and pose with them. So it's ultimately what is going to happen. It's only when you're humble, and you act well, because now content is king. We can't have you, Alia Bhatt just throwing a tantrum and saying, I want to act in a movie and then expecting people to lap it up. No, we want movies with good substance that can move the audiences. That message is very clear, not only from the Kashmir Files, Kerala Story, Dhurandhar. So people are now very, very clear that if you want to, make your movie sell, if you want your actors to, become successful, give them good movies and movies with good substance. So let me just take a few comments. One more thing, there's a clip where Shah Rukh Khan is getting insecure when the Shararat song from Dhurandhar was played during IPL. Obviously, Dhanashree. Even Deepika is not supporting her husband Ranveer. But then you see from the beginning, they've never behaved like a husband and wife. It's a typical Bollywood marriage where they get married for certain reasons. And usually I would think that is about money and property and whatnot. Thank you, Karpaswamy. Always welcome. Always nice to see you. And Dhanashree says, in fact, Akshay Khanna was rumored to be an alcoholic and by these paid media. Actually, in truth, he's a very good dancer. He acts very well and he's a principlarian. He sleeps early, not like these people who go for parties and end up at, coming home at 3 o'clock. In fact, Karan Johar was making fun of him and saying that, see, when he is in his house in, Alibag, he won't go for any other event, even if he's getting an award. That's what he said. I would go anywhere. But the difference is, Karan Johar, is that you make just clap, okay? While he, with one movie, can shake up the whole of Bollywood. So that's a different Karan Johar. So, and Dr. MCS says, leadership is not about power, image, prestige, and status leadership. It's about responsibility. And that's K. Annamalai. So very well, summed up in these few words. Thank you for that, Doctor, because that's exactly what Annamalai is all about. So with this, we end this session. We'll see you tomorrow with a lot more news. Good night. And please keep giving comments. So let me just take one more comment from Dhanashri. Who the hell is Kriti Sanon? Is she Madhubala, Madhuri, or Sri Devi? What kind of attitude? Even those people never behave like this, I'm sure, Dhanashri. It's just these people, these actresses, they have nothing. In fact, I was just watching a dance of Janvi with Kamala Hassan's daughter and Chiranjeevi's son. What I found is that Kamala Hassan's daughter, is so graceful and so beautiful. She does the dance, though I'm not very fond of the dance, but she's so graceful. Whereas Janvi, the nepo kid, though Kamala Hassan's daughter can also be termed a nepo kid, she is brilliant when she comes to acting. But you look at Janvi, she can't act for nuts. She's done so many movies and she still seems so, absolutely artificial in her behavior, in the way she pouts her lips, because the whole face has been changed from what she was previously. And so I think this kind of plastic surgery and Botox and all this does take a toll on one's face, meaning that you can't smile so easily, your face becomes restricted. So this is something that, most of the nepo kids in Bollywood face. So with this, we end this video. We'll see you tomorrow with a lot more news. Good night. Jai Hind and Jai Shri Ram.